Are you a visual, auditory, or kinesthetic learner? This seemingly innocent question has shaped educational approaches for decades. Millions of students have been categorized into distinct learning styles, with teachers and institutions tailoring instruction to match these preferences. It's an intuitively appealing idea, and it has spawned thousands of books, assessment tools, and teaching methodologies. But here's the surprising truth. Despite its widespread popularity, the concept of distinct learning styles is simply not supported by scientific evidence. Let's explore where this theory came from. The learning styles approach, most people recognize, emerged in the 1970s and 1980s, with various models proposing different categories. The most famous is what's called the VARK model, that's visual, auditory, reading, writing, and kinesthetic, developed by Neil Fleming in 1987. You might also have heard of other frameworks. There's Kolb's experiential learning theory, which identifies 4 different learning styles, and there's Honey and Mumford's model, which describes people as activists, reflectors, theorists, and pragmatists. Now, all these theories share one common premise. They claim that individuals have distinct, stable preferences for receiving and processing information. And importantly, they suggest that learning outcomes improve when teaching methods match these personal preferences. Researchers call this the meshing or matching hypothesis. And yes, it makes intuitive sense to many educators and learners. But here's the critical point. When researchers have subjected this hypothesis to rigorous scientific testing, the results have been consistently disappointing. In fact, multiple comprehensive reviews of the learning styles literature have found minimal evidence supporting these core claims. Let me share some specific research findings. In 2008, cognitive psychologists Harold Pashler, Mark McDaniel, Doug Rohrer, and Robert Bjork published a landmark paper examining the validity of learning styles theories. After reviewing all the available research, they concluded, and I'm quoting here, that there was no adequate evidence base to justify incorporating learning styles assessments into general educational practice. That's not all. A 2009 review by the Psychological Science in the Public Interest found something equally concerning. Of the thousands of studies on learning styles, virtually none properly tested the matching hypothesis using appropriate research designs. And this isn't just old research. More recent analyses, including a comprehensive 2018 review in Frontiers in Psychology, have continued to find a lack of empirical support for learning styles-based instruction. So this raises an important question. Why does this concept persist so stubbornly? There are several factors that contribute to its staying power. First and foremost, the idea is intuitively appealing. We all have preferences for how we receive information, and these preferences feel significant to us. The fact that I might prefer learning through diagrams doesn't mean I actually learn better that way, but it certainly feels like I do. Second, and this is important to understand, the concept has spawned a substantial commercial industry. Think about all those tests, books, and professional development programs. There are vested interests in its continued promotion. Third, confirming the style matching hypothesis would require specific research designs that most studies simply don't employ. This allows ambiguous results to be interpreted as supportive, even when they're not. Now, here's the good news. Despite the lack of evidence for distinct learning styles, research has identified several evidence-based approaches that genuinely improve learning for everyone. Let me walk you through 5 key strategies that actually work. Number 1. Dual coding. This means combining visual and verbal information. This approach enhances learning not just for so-called visual learners, but for everyone. Our brains process these inputs through separate channels, allowing for stronger memory encoding. Number 2. Spaced repetition. This means distributing your learning over time, rather than cramming everything at once. This approach significantly improves long-term retention for all learners, regardless of any supposed learning style. Number 3. Retrieval practice. This involves actively recalling information through self-testing. This strengthens memory more effectively than passive review, and it works for everyone. Number 4. Interleaving. This means mixing different topics or problem types during practice sessions. This approach improves transfer of learning and helps you better distinguish between concepts. And number 5, concrete examples. Abstract concepts become more accessible when paired with specific examples. This benefit extends to all learners, not just certain types. What's particularly worth emphasizing is that these evidence-based strategies work for virtually everyone, regardless of their supposed learning style preference. The most effective approaches involve multiple modalities and active engagement with material not matching instruction to a presumed style. Now, I want to be clear about something. This doesn't mean individual differences don't matter in education. They absolutely do. Factors like prior knowledge, cognitive abilities, interests, and motivation profoundly affect learning outcomes and deserve consideration. But the specific framework of visual, auditory, or kinesthetic styles lacks empirical support. So, what's the takeaway here? Moving beyond the learning styles myth allows educators and learners to focus on evidence-based approaches that benefit everyone. Rather than restricting students to their supposed preferred modality, we can enhance learning by engaging multiple senses, incorporating active retrieval, spacing out practice, and adapting to the specific content being taught. In conclusion, the most effective learning doesn't come from matching instruction to a presumed style. It comes from understanding how human memory and cognition actually work, and applying those universal principles to help everyone learn better.